Welcome to the 2/22/22 update. The only thing to make this more awesome is if we went live at 2:22 Mountain Time this afternoon. So welcome to the news update, breaking news so you don't break your bank. We have got a couple of things we want to address today. The first thing I want to kind of just get it out of the way is if you became part of that class action lawsuit and you signed up for credit monitoring free that was after the 2017 Equifax data breach, keep an eye out for an email. There may be, the settlement was approved last month in court. Now, whether it's 17 cents or $7.17, I wouldn't expect much more. But the lawsuit is closed, the settlement came up, and Equifax is ready to start distributing those. So be on the lookout. They will be using the email you used as part of the registration process for the free credit monitoring. All right, now that that's out of the way, Russia and the Ukraine. What has that got to do with fundability? Well, it was a 95+% guarantee that March would see a rise in interest rates. The Fed was going to raise the interest rates in March, just as part of, because what everyone's calling inflation, which is truly the lack of products available, lack of supply due to supply chain issues, has been causing a rise in costs. Well, to help ease that, they wanted to raise rates, and they've been talking since last summer about raising rates in March. That's way less than 95% sure for two reasons. Number one, if this becomes a more serious engagement, it's very serious for the people who are there on the front line. So I don't want to be insensitive. If this becomes a more serious economic impact, then the likelihood of raising interest rate is declining. So I'll keep you posted. You'll keep you posted, but we want to make sure that we are very careful about how we're planning. Some of us have been rushing to get the last refis, any new properties under the lower interest rates. I still recommend that we do that for fundability purposes. I still recommend that we do that because there's no guarantee, and there may be a rise in the Fed rates. But the biggest contributor to this mess will be increased oil prices. So they're already high. They have not ebbed. They've not come down for quite a while now. So that is because there's a lot, not just oil supply in Russia and the Ukraine, but all of the engagement, all the pipelines, everything that is going on in Russia and Ukraine. The amount of supply may be interrupted, and those pipelines may be subject to stoppages, haltages, sabotage. A number of things could happen if history repeats itself. So just watch for that. Do finish your final refinances. Do buy that last property or two before March. But just know that it's not 95+% guaranteed that those rates are going to go up again. All right. Now, the next thing we want to cover is one thing that it always makes me happy, because you've watched television shows and movies, read books where they talk about being on the right side of history, right? You want to be on the right side of history. Well, in banking, one of the big things that started out small and now is just massive, I mean, it's massive for everybody, is the idea of what they call digitalization, right? And digitalization is simply a fancy word for using technology to drive banking, we call it automatic underwriting, automatic approvals, automatic limit increases. We've been talking about this for years. years, I've been preaching that automatic underwriting is the wave of the future, and it's only going to become more so. Well, now we're talking massive transformations in the digital products they offer. These automatic, you go online, fill out an application, hit submit, you're approved or denied in 30 seconds. Be sure and talk to us further. Go to if you haven't been to our boot camp, go to the boot camp to find out how to make sure it's you get approved instead of denied when you apply. But there are 6 major banking technology moves for 2022. One of them is this whole idea of lowering or completely getting rid of overdraft fees. So that's a huge thing that's going on right now. Now, the bottom line for all of us is that competition is going to be won by those who have the technology. Because think of it, if you have manual underwriters and a full-time person, and they can only do, let's be aggressive. Let's say that they can approve a business line of credit, a business loan, a mortgage in one day. Okay, that they devote their whole one day. Well, if that person's a well-paid or reasonably well-paid person, it may cost you hundreds of dollars to do one application, right? I tell the story when I was at FICO 2016, and the vice president of Suntrust Bank was doing a presentation about why they were merging with Truist, or became Truist Bank. They were merging with another bank because this other bank had their whole personal and business credit cards and lines of credit, et cetera, were based on automatic underwriting, whereas Suntrust it was all manual underwriting still. And she said, if you haven't heard me tell the story before, it is shocking. They said in order to break even on a human being underwriting a loan, it had to be a $38,000 loan for a minimum of 3 years at prime plus 4%. That's not even competitive. Prime plus 4% for them to break even, to make enough money on that 3-year loan. Oh, and a minimum of 38,000. I said that. That is not a very healthy outlook. That means you can't lend $10, $15, or $20,000, and you can't be competitive with your rates if that's what it takes to break even. So they merged and became Truist Bank. It was actually a very large concern because 2 tier 2s joined forces. So I say that because the people who are going to win this win in the next year or two are the ones who take advantage of these advanced technologies, who become more, who are doing all of their approvals and denials via automatic underwriting. That means one of the big things that they're working on is intelligent decisioning and communication needs to be online. It needs to be on the phone. If it's not on the phone or on the web, more and more banks are, I told you last week or the week before, we talked about US Bank closing thousands of branches. Numerous banks are closing branches because they're not profitable enterprises. And everything is moving to digital now. And by the way, Bank of America offered me when I went in because I got a new business credit card with Bank of America, they offered me call or video. And if to click on video, I would be able to meet with a banker. So there's still the opportunity to have a personal communication like you and I are having now. This isn't two-way, but imagine being able to talk to your banker via Zoom or some other video platform. That's where we're headed, you guys. And Bank of America offered it to me to continue to nurture those relationships. Okay. So, and I loved it. I love the ability to be able to choose yet. So the automatic underwriting is what they call intelligent decisioning. Do I trust this borrower with my money based on what their borrower behaviors, their borrower profile, everything we talk about in the boot camp? It just feels so good to be on the right side of history because we've been teaching this. We've trained literally thousands of people in our boot camp how to become fundable for for automatic underwriting. All right. The next thing is the expansion of banking APIs, meaning, I don't know if you've heard of Plaid, as in Plaid, plaid.com. Plaid, it is an app where you download, like Mint has it, a number of applications have it. You fill in you push your buttons, and you can load your bank accounts onto your phone so that you can transfer money, balance, et cetera, et cetera. That's not new technology, but you wouldn't believe how many banks, especially tier 2 and tier 3, do not have that kind of API access. They're not allowing Plaid. If you look at Plaid's list, your bank may not be on it because it's bank centric. It's driven from the bank. So we have to be able to, so the more people who are giving access from the phone to the bank information, they're going to be a part of this major win. Now, this one's a little technical, but I'm going to try and explain it as carefully as I can. There's cloud-based banking. Now, many people, so think of it this way. I'm just going to pick on Bank of America. Bank of America may have a whole bunch of servers that are Bank of America servers, and all of Bank of America's data is on these servers. That your data, if you're with Bank of America, all this is on these dedicated Bank of America servers. Well, if something happens to the pipeline, what they call the electronic communication to those servers, if power went down, let's say it's in Manhattan, if power went down to those servers, then Bank of America goes offline, right? So that's a dedicated. Well, then they go to, but for those banks who are moving to the cloud, means that the data is not on one dedicated series of servers. They're still bank level encrypted data, so that people don't have access to your data. But now it's like the internet. There are servers in San Francisco, servers in Las Vegas, servers in Colorado. If the servers in Colorado go down, it reroutes the traffic through a different server bank, right? And these server banks are all over the country. There's hundreds of them. So that's what it means going to the cloud. Instead of a dedicated, so those who are moving to the cloud, they know that ultimately they have to have this. And cloud computing, I'm gonna do the math here for us. That this may also include being able to do blockchain as part of this decentralized cloud-based serving. All right. Well, the final one is increased focus on cybersecurity. So if we're going to go to the cloud, then we need way more than 256 level encryption. Bank level encryption is going to have to go up. So that covers our 6 for the day. Boy, I'm just talking, aren't I, Sky? My name is Merrill Chandler. Thank you for joining me on this update. And for those of you who are our funding hackers, meet us on the Zoom link, and we'll do our funding hackers Q&A. I can't wait to see you. Thank you for joining us. I'll see you next time.